is credited with probably having more effect on the laws of Kentucky than any other judge in this century. That is a strong but accurate tribute to the man who attended high school and college in this city. Judge Palmore graduated from Bowling Green High School before entering Western in 1934. He is also a member of the Bowling Green High School Hall of Fame. He received his law degree from the University of Louisville and also attended the Harvard Graduate School of Business Administration. His contributions to Western continued in 1984 when he was appointed to a 4-year term on the Western Board of Regents. As a matter of fact, he hired me into this job, and I appreciate that. He honored Western in 1987 when he presented his personal and professional papers and his judicial robe that he wore for 20 years to the university. He remains active after his retirement as a senior counsel in the law firm of Jackson and Kelly in Lexington.
A member of Kentucky's law community for more than 50 years, Judge John Palmore is credited with having a major impact on the law of Kentucky. Palmore began his judicial career on Kentucky's Court of Appeals in 1959 and served on what is now the state Supreme Court for 23 years. The Bowling Green High School graduate held the state's top judicial post in 1966, 1973, and from 1977 until his retirement in 1982 from the state Supreme Court. During his tenure on the state bench, Palmore contributed more than 800 published opinions to Kentucky law. It was during his career as Chief Justice for the state that the court system was reorganized, and the progress of the new court system in its early years was set forth by Judge Palmore. He was a member of Western Kentucky University's Board of Regents from 1984 until 1988, and the former Western student revealed positive feelings about what Western meant to him when he donated many of his judicial papers to the university in 1987.
And I have that feeling about Western. I think this is a great tribute to Western, that it would do this and express its appreciation to somebody who just merely went to school here, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Among his awards, Palmore received the Kentucky Council on Crime and Delinquency Award in 1978, was named the 1980 Kentucky Outstanding Judge, and received the Friend of the Media Award in 1981. A leader during a time of change in the Kentucky judicial system, 1993 Hall of Distinguished Alumni honoree, Judge John S. Palmore.
Gosh, how would you all like to follow that distinguished array of people? There have been so many wonderful, great people whom I have known who went to school at Western that I find it hard to believe that I'm here. You know, I'm about as flabbergasted as being here as I would be if I'd won the lottery without buying a ticket. You know, life doesn't enable us to come to a full appreciation of people and institutions until we've lived long enough for them to fall into perspective. It's been 59 years since I entered Western, and I want to tell you that over those 59 years, my appreciation for this place, for this institution, for the boys and girls I went to school with, has just grown through the years. And I'd like at this time to indulge in just a little bit of nostalgia. You know, a friend of mine in Frankfurt told me several years ago, he said, you know, Jack, when your florist bill gets bigger than your liquor bill, son, you're getting old. And when I look around and see how few people knew Dr. Cherry, we're in school here when Dr. Cherry was the president of this institution. Boys and girls, I know I'm getting old. I was 15 years old when Cordell Hull was made Secretary of State, and I remember it quite well. I remember him, although I never met him personally. But you know, as I look back through the years and sort of assess what my experience here and my relationships here have done for me through the years, I feel most grateful. Dr. Cherry, I never had a personal conversation with him, but he was here, and boy, let me tell you, when he was here, he was here. A dynamic speaker, a great leader, in my opinion, one of the greatest people who ever lived in Kentucky. I can see him now at chapel, which he believed in deeply, passionately. I remember one day in chapel he didn't show up at first. And we found out afterward he had gone to the Gold Post, which was a students' hangout across 15th Street up there, where a lot of the students played cards and hung out, you know, during the day. And he scoured them out of there. And he told them if they didn't want to go to school at Western, they could stay there. But if they want to go to school at Western, they better be in chapel. He was a great figure. And through the years, he's been an inspiration to me. I'll never forget him. I can see him now with that fist up there speaking to that bunch of students and faculty members there in Van Meter Hall. Then, of course, through the years, one of the greatest friends I ever had was Francis Richards. One of my really dear friends. I had 2 courses in English under her after having had a wonderful teacher at Bowling Green High School named Bill Potter. Through the years, it fell my lot to have to write a good deal. I wrote a lot of opinions for the court. I've made a number of speeches that I wrote in advance, 3 of them to the General Assembly. I never wrote anything like that without thinking about her. I always wrote to satisfy Francis Richards. And sometimes I may have succeeded. I hope that I did. She was a dear friend, and she gave me more than I could count up. And then Kelly Thompson. I was in a glee club in 1935, 36. There's some wonderful people here. You know, back in those days, there were still a lot of the original plank holders here. Professor Strom, I remember, such a wonderful man, teacher, pianist. But Kelly had charge of the glee club, and he went on all of the trips with us, and we went all over Western Kentucky, from Louisville on out to Eddyville and Catawba and places like that. And he made it a point at some time or another during his trips to have each one of us sit next to him up in front of the bus and talk to him and get to know him. And you know, I made the remark to somebody tonight that when people have the gift of grace and charm such as he had, this is something that isn't manufactured and isn't cultivated. This has got to come straight from God. This you're born with or you never have it. And Kelly Thompson was one of those gifted people who had that charm and that grace. And I suppose really that along with Coach Diddle, that nobody ever walked on this hill who was liked better than he was. And these people, you can see from what I've said, how much they have meant to me. And it takes the years to go by. I remember seeing Kelly Thompson every time the legislature was in session, Senator. He and Dr. Ralph Woods from Murray and Dr. Bob Martin from Eastern, Dr. Adrian Doran from Moorhead were always there to see that the budget was taken care of, you know. I remember those 4 stalwart men and what great men they were. But I owe Kelly Thompson a great, great debt of gratitude. I think he was a true prince among men. And you know, we can't do this in this life, but in the next life, if I'm fortunate enough to have one, I'd like to come back to Western. I'd like to take Miss Frances Richards' course in Shakespeare. I'd like to have some kind of a course, any kind of a course, under Dr. Gordon Wilson. And I'd like to go to the Gold Post and see Dr. Cherry run those people out of there. I appreciate this wonderful honor that's been done to me. I don't deserve it, but I will keep it. I won't tender it back. Thank you so much. I hope that I can see all of you for many more years to come. Thank you very, very much.
I think this has been a most productive evening. We have seen and had the opportunity to visit with and hear from outstanding individuals who have made their mark on society, and certainly individuals that have made all of us at Western Kentucky University very proud. I want to thank all of you for attending. This university cherishes the contributions of these alumni, and we believe the true mark in measuring the quality of an institution is to look at the success of its alumni. And certainly from what we've seen tonight, I believe Western Kentucky University is successful. Western is a great university it is today because of the foundation laid by the persons we've honored here tonight. And if you would join me in honoring them once again with a round of applause.